When I say roguelike, you say...
Dark Souls.
When I say procedurally generated, what do you think of?
A new experience every level?
How about when I say top-down killathon?
Diablo?
Mix all those together, and that's what you've got with a game called Boss Crushers. Hey guys, this is Moriarty.
And this is Brax.
Boss Crushers is a multiplayer, roguelike, dungeon crawler type thing. It's very, very simple. It's not difficult by any means. And it's all about killing or crushing a boss creature.
So that is the goal of each level, I'm guessing. You go through, you kill lots of minions until you get to the boss, and then you have to face off against the boss, right?
That's the whole point of it. Now, as you might imagine in a game like this, there are stores, there's pickups, there's level ups, and all that kind of stuff that generally comes along with these games. But one of the things that I enjoyed about this game, and I did enjoy this game, is the fact that there's not so much stuff that they throw at you. It's very simplified. You have 3 characters. One might do more damage. One might do more speed. One might be able to heal.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the level design done in a way that makes you select a different character for particular levels, if you know what I mean? Like, does one stage of the game require you to be fast in a way that another one doesn't?
The game is completely 100% procedurally generated. So there is no planning ahead. It's just whichever one you prefer. I'm okay with that because it gives me the freedom to say I want to be the quick spellcaster, or I want to be the guy who does a lot more damage.
That's fine with me. Sometimes I do prefer a little bit of customization, though. But the way you're describing it, it's not really a bad thing that it is simplified. What about in terms of the UI and items, things like that, or where I normally feel overwhelmed in a roguelike sometimes, because if I'm thrown items and weapons constantly and I have to always be upgrading or changing those in order to deal with different enemies, sometimes I feel like there's too much going on and I feel a little bit of clutter in my inventory and it gets a little difficult to manage. Is any of that present here?
You have a grand total of 4 things you can do at any given moment. You have a right click, you have a left click, you can press space, or you can press Q for your special ability. That's it. You can pick up some usable items, but generally you're not going to have a whole lot of them until you get further into the dungeon. In your first couple of levels, you might find a spell book to replace one of your right click or left clicks with.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming it would be that way with all weapons. That's related to what I was asking. Do you feel like you're upgrading as you go along? Like, each one of these levels is procedurally generated. That's fine. They're a unique experience. But most roguelikes do get more challenging as they go along. And unless you are improving yourself with your gear and preparing yourself with having enough items and things of that nature to succeed, you won't succeed and you won't be ready to face the boss. Is that here? Do you feel like you have to get better and improve your character and their gear as the game progresses?
Yes. You have a couple of different ways that you handle this. First is that each character levels up through the playthrough that you're currently on. Once you die, that character's level up goes away, but while you're playing, you can level it up, you can make it more powerful, more healthy, whatever. And so what you see is you are playing, you're killing monsters, you're getting better at things, and that makes your character in that particular playthrough stronger. One of the things that you can do outside of the particular character that you're playing is there's also a profile rank. So as you play more games and as you kill more monsters and you win more things, your profile rank will get higher, giving you certain bonuses when you start the game.
So because it gives you bonuses and you get better, you say that's through one playthrough each time. But with the profile, if I get these bonuses, does that mean I get to start the level with better stuff? And if so, does that mean that each playthrough is going to get more difficult?
I don't think that the playthroughs themselves get more difficult. I think that you just get slightly further. This isn't something that's particularly new to this genre either. You see it in Enter the Gungeon. You see it in basically every roguelike dungeon crawler that's out there. It's really, really common to see the profile get more powerful and see the characters more powerful on the particular run. This is more of a refinement than anything. They didn't do anything that's really different here, but it's really cool and it's a lot of fun and it plays well. Because they simplified things, unlike in enter the dungeon where you're going to have 150 different people who are running everywhere, and you're going to have guns that do different things and all this kind of stuff, and it gets really, really complicated. You don't really have that. Instead, you've got one or two abilities that you're mostly going to use. You might have a dash or something else that's a special ability, and then you'll have your one super, which, to start with, all it's going to do is allow you to teleport to a different part of the dungeon. It doesn't even, like, clear the screen or anything.
That's a really unique idea, to me at least. With roguelikes, a lot of the time, the people that play them are really hardcore about it. If you think about people that get into these really difficult, challenging games, part of that is because it isn't simple. It's very complicated. It's really hard to understand everything about the game in order to be able to actually beat them because they're so freaking hard. So with this one being more simplified, I feel like it could fill a void for people that enjoy roguelikes but don't want to take them too seriously. So maybe something that's a little more of a casual experience for those people that aren't expecting to go in there and be a master of the game, but also don't want to just be so mad at the game within the first hour that they never play it again.
When I played this game, in my very first hour, I died probably close to 15 or 20 times, and never once was I angry about it, because I was getting stronger and I was getting further and I was taking down the bosses a little bit more each time. I never got angry about it. Now, there is a very high difficulty level here. It is not an easy game. I never managed to kill a boss by myself, and unfortunately the game isn't out yet as of this review, so I can't say what it would be like to play with online people. I can't say what it would be like to actually have a group of 4 people going in and destroying these bosses, but you can't solo it. So the difficulty level is definitely there. People who want a hard game, they've got a hard game here. People who want a game that isn't going to coddle them in terms of difficulty, well, this isn't going to give you any of that. Now, you get some bonuses and perks and things when you die by improving your overall guild, but each hero, when you choose one, they're basically similar, but they'll also be given perks. So a perk might be that this particular one, if they drink something, they get stronger. So you're going to be playing the game with the understanding that you're looking for alcohol. Or another one might get really powerful with fire bonuses. So it definitely changes every single time you play it, as a roguelike should. I'm okay with this game. I thought it was fun, and I want to play it with other people. I think it's a neat game, and I think it's a lot of enjoyment there. That's really the key part for me. Everything's simplified. Everything is cleaned up. It's a very, very low-stress version, but that doesn't mean that it is easy.
One thing I am left curious about is whether or not this game has loot. Say you do beat a level and you defeat that boss. Do you get special loot, like maybe the chances of a special armor spawning are higher that you could put on your character that looks really neat? You know how drops work. It may be common, rare, epic, exotic, or whatever color or name they put on it. Is there anything like that in here where you can get some really cool stuff that feels rewarding if you are able to take down that really hard boss?
There is loot, and there's various treasure chests, and even random bad guys will drop various loot occasionally. There's also stores and things like that. You're right, I haven't killed a boss yet, because again, I haven't played with anybody, and they're too hard to kill alone. But I imagine that they will also drop various stuff that will improve you throughout your dungeon journey.
I would think so too, and I think that is really cool. It's one of the reasons that I enjoy playing online games that task you with teaming up with other people to go take down the big baddie, is because I do like getting loot. I'm kind of an addict in that way. It's the only reason I spent so much time in games like Destiny. So I'm glad that that could be there, and you do say that they already drop stuff and you can buy stuff from stores. There's potential there to be able to get stuff as a player that makes you feel really proud of it, and I love that sort of stuff in game. Like, oh, look at my armor, it's better than yours, and it looks cooler than yours. So if that sort of stuff is in there too, that really excites me. Overall, you've sold this to me pretty well. I'm still undecided, and that's for one reason only. You can probably guess why. I don't know how much this game cost.
That's a good point. I imagine that this is going to be a $20 to $30 game. That feels right to me. I would hope I would be pleased if this were a $10 to $15 game. I think that would be the perfect price, but I have a feeling it's a $20 to $30 game, which would make it kind of a failing to me. If it's a $10 to $15 game, it's a pickup, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. The decisions that they made in the game are smart. For example, when you pick up a potion or something, it lasts for a certain number of battles, which is cool, because you can, instead of having a 30-second healing thing and then you get into a battle and it's a tiny little dude that you kill in 1 second, instead you have this ability for 5 or 6 battle rooms. I like that. I think that's a smart decision. So altogether, everything that they've done is good. It's simple, it's easy to get into, but difficult to become a master at. All of the monsters and all of the bosses are kind of unique, and the heroes are unique enough. There's character generation. There's a lot of cool stuff in this game. So if it's in that $10 to $15 range, it is definitely a buy from me. I think it's a good idea at that point. If, however, it is a $30 game, which it could be, it is a little bit more of a hardcore players only kind of decision then.
I would be surprised if it isn't a $20 game. Like, I really do feel like this will be $19.99 when it comes out. Looking at it, seeing it, I just really get that vibe from it. It really looks like a $20 game to me. So if I were to make a prediction, that's what it would be. Anything over that, and I won't recommend it, $20 or below, worth checking out, I would say. And I do like these bosses. The bosses do look cool, and that's making me want to play this, if nothing else is.
The bosses are absolutely the stars of this game, and there are many of them. They're all pretty cool. And I imagine, just based off of the way that the UI is set up, there will be more. There will be a lot more that are added to this game as time goes by. I can absolutely see them saying, here's another 4 bosses, guys. Here's another 4 bosses. Until eventually you've got 20, 30, 40 bosses in the game, and you're trying to beat them all and having new and unique experiences. I absolutely can see that. This is a cool game. I recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that it's $10 to $15 so that you can get you and your friends together, and it's a $60 game amongst all of you, and you can go wreck these bosses.
I'm just glad the bosses and boss crushers are actually cool.
So there you go, guys. That is Boss Crushers. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, why don't you watch another one up there in the corner? And as always,
We'll see you guys on the next one.